Hi guys, welcome to Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm going to do my review of WWE Wrestlepalooza 2025. So starting off the show, we had Brock Lesnar defeat John Cena in what was a glorified squash match. Cena did like a few shoulder barges, 3 AAs, and that was it as far as offense. I expected a lot more out of this one, a bit more competition between the two, maybe have it a bit more evened out. I understand the fact of having Brock Lesnar be this dominant figure, but yeah, for me, I expected John Cena to be a little bit more into this one. I didn't expect it to be so one-sided, like 2014 SummerSlam one-sided, but it is what it is. They're kind of booking Brock the way I kind of expected them to when he returned, which was kind of the killer, the 2015 to 2018 run of Brock Lesnar, even getting Paul Heyman back. Whether that's a regular thing or not, I'm not sure. Part of me feels it might not be, but it would not surprise me at all if it is. But I get the point of booking Brock Lesnar in this way. It's a style that suits him to an absolute T. I fully understand it. But I think having him face Cena here, was it necessary? I think to a degree it really puts across his, him coming back. But was it, a wasted spot in the farewell tour? I would say so. I would like Cena to face Seth Rollins. I would love for Cena to face AJ Styles, maybe even a match with Dominic as he's Intercontinental Champion. That could have... One of those three matches could 100% have slot into WrestlePalooza. I understand the Seth Rollins one was slightly different, but he could have faced AJ Styles here. He could have faced Dominic Mysterio here. You could have even had the Sami Zayn match if you wanted to on the show, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And I feel like this is going to divide a lot of opinions as far as where it should have fallen, or whether you should have even done this match at all on the farewell tour. But then at the same time, if Brock is someone that Cena wanted to face, then there's really no argument. It's what Cena wanted, and I fully understand him wanting to face certain people during his farewell tour. But it kind of is what it is. I'm curious to see who they have John face at Crown Jewel, especially as I don't think we're going to see John between now and Crown Jewel. So having to build a feud with Cena by yourself, it's something that can be quite difficult. So I'm very curious to see who they have in that spot. As for Brock Lesnar, I fully expected to just go away for a bit, come back at maybe Royal Rumble time. But yeah, overall, what I think of the match, it wasn't great. It's not the way I would have done things. I like this side of Brock Lesnar, but it was interesting to have this go on first and kind of be the match that competes with AEW, and then have it be such a disappointment. I feel like it was a risky move, and I feel like that risk hasn't paid off. Following that, we had the Bronze, so Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed defeat the reunited Usos with LA Knight as the special guest referee, which was announced during the countdown or the pre-show. And this was a fine match. It was nothing really that special. I don't feel like it would have gone amiss on a Raw. But I understand why they put it on pay-per-view, especially with the Usos coming back together. This is a pretty big win for the Bronze. I feel like they're going to benefit massively from having this kind of win over such an established tag team. I liked LA Knight as the special guest referee. I feel like he played it down the middle for the most part, and they were able to do a no DQ match without having to change the stipulation at the last minute, which I think worked very well. The introduction of weapons were a good touch to the match, and it had fun moments within it. I thought Bron Breakker spearing the Usos through the table as the final spot, I thought was a good way to kind of have them win the match, even though I suppose it was cheating in a way of if LA Knight wasn't the referee, it wouldn't have been allowed. But the Bronsons look very good after this, in my opinion. I don't feel like this is added to them overall massively. But if they can make this work into a long-term thing, where we beat this tag team, this tag team, this tag team, and it leads to a world tag team title shot, then that's 100% I feel like what's right, as I feel like the Bronze should be the world tag team champions right now, and this match should have been for the tag team championships. We saw a little bit of issues between Jey Uso and LA Knight, but it didn't really affect the match massively. It didn't, at least it didn't play into the finish, which I was very happy about. I was worried that it was going to be Jey Uso accidentally does something, or LA Knight accidentally does something which costs the Usos the match, and that simply wasn't the case, which was good. But yeah, for me, it was the weakest match on the show, and it didn't it wasn't really anything special. It was a pretty bang average no DQ tag team match. yeah, night was an interesting last minute addition. I don't feel like it was massively necessary, but it didn't take away from the match at all. But yeah, so definitely the worst match on this show, like overall, pretty much. So from the weakest match to by far the best match, we saw Stephanie Vaquer defeat Io Sky to become the new Women's World Championship, and I loved this match. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. This worked really, really well. It was everything I was hoping for, and yeah, they went out there and absolutely killed it. They had a great match bell to bell. Everything worked here really well. You know, the pacing was done really well. The chemistry was really good between them. There was just absolutely fluid wrestling throughout. Just, as I said, everything about this worked really, really well. I have nothing but compliments for this one. 100% match of the night. Just, yeah, it was a really good change of pace from the tag team match, and yeah, I'm very happy that this kind of delivered the way I wanted it to. Personally, I felt Io versus Stephanie is a match that I've been wanting on pay-per-view for a while, ever since they had the 2 matches on Raw that ended in a disqualification. And yeah, like, they more than delivered on this one. And yeah, I'm also very happy that no one interfered in this one. They had a straight singles match with a clear winner. I was very worried that Asuka was going to get involved in this one, and yeah, it simply wasn't the case, and I'm very glad that that happened. I assume that something will develop on Raw between either Asuka and Stephanie Vaquer or Asuka and Io Sky, but I'm glad it didn't happen here. But yeah, straight wrestling, everything about it was great, absolutely awesome match. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check this one out. It was 100% the highlight of the night, and yeah, literally couldn't have been happier with this one. After that, we had CM Punk and AJ Lee defeat Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, with AJ pinning Becky Lynch. And yeah, this was a really fun match. I found it very enjoyable to watch. It maybe went a little bit long. I believe it went in and around the half-an-hour mark, which is quite long for a mixed tag team match. I mean, I can't imagine any mixed tag team match has got anywhere near that kind of time before, but this is arguably like the biggest I wouldn't say most important, but probably the biggest mixed tag match like in history. But yeah, for me, the comedy elements of this fit in really well with the action that was quite packed in and very good throughout. Rollins and Lynch separating CM Punk from AJ made absolutely perfect sense. So then AJ Lee was the hot tag, and yeah, the crowd went especially mental when the hot tag was taken, and from that point everything kind of broke down a little bit. The referee showed a lot of leniency, you know, the tagging in and out wasn't exactly needed, and they just kind of just went for either synchronized moves, especially with Punk and AJ, and yeah, the referee kind of just stopped telling them to get out of the ring, and they just did all their stuff that they wanted to do all at the same time. I would have probably said that this match would have benefited a lot with just being a tornado tag match. Like, you would have fully understood why they did that with the whole personal the personal grudge match of which the feud is for this one. But yeah, I enjoyed the finish. AJ took a hell of a bump through the announce table. I'd argue that she probably took the worst of it as she landed on the part of the table, and I believe because there's like a screen or a TV underneath, that kind of came out under AJ later on, so she took like a second bump to the floor, and yeah, respect to her for taking that. And yeah, to be able to come back in to do the final sequence of the match with Becky Lynch. Yeah, for me, I would probably say this is the second best match on the show, and which is very surprising for a mixed tag team match. But no, I found this very enjoyable. I feel like it's a good win for Punk and AJ before we start getting into the swing of things. I assume that maybe AJ will challenge Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship, maybe at Crown Jewel, or maybe just on a Raw coming up soon. And as for Punk and Rollins, I feel like they're going to maybe put this on the back burner for a bit, because Rollins is going to feud with Cody for the Crown Jewel Championship. But yeah, so for me, I would say this is probably the second best match on the night. I feel like if you kind of know Punk, AJ, Rollins, and Lynch, you can understand and know this was always going to be a good match just because of how good these guys are. It was especially good showing from AJ of the first match in like 10 years, I believe. So yeah, everything worked out here really well, and yeah, nothing but positives really to say about this one other than maybe the match length. And finally, in the main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the WWE Championship, and this match unfortunately wasn't as good as I expected it would be and as I wanted it to be. It was very standard for these two. I felt I really wouldn't have gone amiss on a Raw. I felt like they had a match. I believe not long before WrestleMania 39, where Drew McIntyre beat Cody, which was like one of the first losses that Cody took since returning. That match, I believe, was much better than this one. And yeah, it was just very disappointing. Cody sold the head very well. At first, I thought he was maybe selling a knee injury that he picked up, but then as the match went on, you could kind of see that Cody was like kind of, you could see the head injury from being taken out through the table was kind of playing an effect on him. But then you're taking to the fact that he's been gone for so many weeks, you'd have thought that maybe he would have recovered mostly from that, and that's why he's able to compete in a championship match here. And I think one of the big like drawing away points from this match was the fact that the finish was very predictable. You knew that they were going to go for the table spot again. It was very predictable that Drew was going to miss that. And then we had the point where Drew McIntyre went for a Claymore, crumbled under the weight of his hurt leg or hurt foot. Cody took advantage of that and got the win. It's, again, very predictable. The title never felt in jeopardy in this one, which is a massive shame considering, you know, the stature of Drew McIntyre. But yeah, just with the very quick build for this one, with just Cody and Drew going back and forth, there was only a couple of weeks of build. And yeah, it felt very thrown onto this card. I personally wouldn't have had this on the card. I would have had something else on this instead rather than this match. But it is what it is. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping that Drew McIntyre recovers from this loss fairly quickly, maybe towards the end of the year, and then he can get back into the title scene and challenge Cody again and beat him, maybe more towards Royal Rumble time. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Cody versus Seth will look like at Crown Jewel 3 years after their original feud. I feel like they're both very, very different characters now, so yeah, I mean, it's still the same heel-face dynamic, but obviously their characters have been through a lot of stuff since then. And yeah, as I said, I'm curious to see how that goes. I feel like it'll be a better match than this one by a country mile, mainly because Seth is in it. But yeah, as I said, I was very disappointed with this match. I expected a lot more. I wanted a lot more. It didn't feel like a main event match. Again, in hindsight, I know that we can't really predict these things, but Io and Stephanie should have 100% main evented the show. I feel like they would have had a better reaction to Stephanie Vicker having her big title win to finish the show rather than Cody Rhodes, but I understand why they did it because it's Cody Rhodes. But the crowd didn't really seem that into it when he got the winning pinfall. And yeah, it was just a bit of a shame and a bit of a letdown from all accounts on this one. So those are my thoughts and opinions on WWE Wrestlepalooza 2025. Do put down in the comments below what your thoughts of the show was, and whether or not you watched AEW or not, who you thought won the weekend. For me, I'll probably say in tomorrow's AEW video what I thought of the weekend overall, but I'm heading more towards AEW. But yeah, I'm interested to see what people's takes are of the whole weekend in general and the show, as it was such a bigly hyped up show and it really didn't deliver that much. But yeah, do subscribe for more wrestling content. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's obviously coverage of the show here, Wrestlepalooza. All Out review will be out tomorrow, as well as predictions for No Mercy and Victory Road will be out this week as well. So again, more coverage of wrestling, like live wrestling, throughout the week again this week. So do stick around for all that. Do like the video if you enjoyed it, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.